Corey Trembath. My pronouns are he, him, and I am a Gunai Kurnai brother boy from the Brubbalong Nation. And I am interviewing tonight.
Hi, I'm Kaylene McLeod. I identify as proud lesbian woman, Aboriginal woman from the Wreck Bay Aboriginal community, Wadi Wadi Monero tribes, and my pronouns is she and her.
Hi, I'm Jodie and I'm from Canberra and my pronouns is she and her.
Great.
And she's my wife.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys are married. So actually that's a really good place to start. So how long have you been married for?
So we tied the knot in March this year, so not so long ago, down home on country in Buddery National Park, where I'm a traditional owner from the Wreck Bay community. So we're very lucky to be able to have our ceremony on country.
Yeah.
It was a beautiful day. Turned 40 on the Thursday and got married on the Friday.
Birthday
So it was a big week.
Yeah.
We had all of Jodie's friends and family come down. It was beautiful.
Yeah, it was amazing.
Yeah, great. And how long have you been together for?
Oh, well now.
About 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
So, yeah, not a huge amount of time, but enough.
Friends for a long time.
Yeah.
Before that, we just decided to take the plunge and establish our relationship. Yeah.
I probably met Kaylene years ago. My brother's best friend was Kaylene's first cousin.
Yeah, okay.
So, yeah.
So the mobs were tied in
links.
without even knowing
years
it.
back.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. So I guess tell me a little bit about your life together. You know, what you do for a job and that kind of stuff.
Do you want me to say that?
You start, babe.
So our life together, so it's Kaylene and myself and our son Bailey, who's 22.
Yeah.
He's studying at uni full time and works part time. And then we've got the 2 fur babies at home, Lulu and Teddy. I guess our life together, well, like we were saying, is pretty hectic. We try and get as involved as much as we can within the community.
I think you guys were calling yourselves scene queens before.
Oh, we are scene queens, definitely.
Yeah.
Jodie does a lot of
The planning.
But a lot of the work in the sense of liaising with a lot of our rainbow community, so we can figure out which events we can go out and support, and any events in particular around the LGBTQI A+ community. We always want to make sure we can try and support in some way. Yes, we are scene queens. We don't mind a lovely drag show and going out to different functions and stuff. Besides that, Jodie's also a beautiful stay-at-home mum, so she helps us out in the home front, and I'm actually a public servant, work for Parks Australia. That's a bit of our lives together.
Yeah, I do a bit of volunteer work. So one of the things we were talking about this afternoon, I'm super passionate. I run some groups through Facebook to keep lesbian women connected, especially rurally.
Yep.
And regionally, there's not much support. And that group, whilst it's lesbian, is also open to trans and to bi, as long as you're female identifying.
Yep.
And I also do a bit of work for a local Canberra lesbian group, also to Southside Women's Group, Diversity ACT. So wherever I can help out. Yeah, and Kay has obviously opened me up to a lot more of that within the Aboriginal community.
Yeah.
So wherever we can, we try and help or pay back, sort of pay it forward, I guess. I think that was what we're both very community minded. So yeah, that was one of the things that attracted me first to Kay, was how much she does for her community. And then that sort of linked in, and Kay's generosity wherever she can. Generous to a fault. Or give and give and give. Yeah.
So obviously you've got a lot of volunteer kind of experience and in the the LGBTIQ community, and then you do a lot to support the Indigenous and First Nations community. But do you find that there's ever any intersection of the two, aside from obviously what we're doing right now? But do you ever find that you might have you ever mentored a queer First Nations person, or have been involved in that side of kind of volunteering and support?
For me, not in an official capacity,
Yep.
but I come from a very large family on both sides, so trying to help my cousins or friends or community members, try and find themselves the best way I can, trying to support them, be it providing resources, be it trying to go to talk to other family members about how I can support their journey and in that kind of space. But also living in Sydney for 15, 16 years, I also had the opportunity to kind of blend the two worlds with the First Nations organisations through Sydney. We were fortunate enough to be on the Mardi Gras First Nations float. So it was one of 5 that led the parade.
Up the front.
Up the front. It was an amazing, it was an amazing experience. So, being able to have that and blend the two worlds was amazing. And Jode's got to come along with us on that day, so it was really special.
It was really special. I think the other thing too is both Kay and I have both been raised in we both had very similar upbringings, in the sense that we just love everyone, and that is, I was really blessed. My mum exposed me to heaps and to everything and to everyone, and that then in turn is the way we've raised our son. So we said to him recently, does anyone sort of ever say anything to you about having 2 mums or lesbian mums? And he said no, they people don't even flinch. He said it's just so I think it's just, but that was a real coming together for both of us, is that we did have that similar upbringing. Kay was raised around gay and trans and lesbian and whatnot, whatever, or heaps of different different humans, and the same. I'm really blessed that my mum, I come from a strict Catholic upbringing, but that never stopped my mum making sure that we were always blessed to have wonderful family friends.
And now she's in PFLAG and
Bless her.
So you could
we take her
combine
to
it
the
all.
drag shows, and she loves it.
Absolutely.
So that's awesome, and that's something that's really great about our community. But obviously, that's not true for everybody or for every aspect in life. And I've spoken to you both about some of the challenges that you faced, and not just in your relationship, but Kay, what have been the challenges that you faced as a queer black woman coming up in and coming out, I guess, because it's not just that you're queer, you're also Indigenous, and there's all those layers that add to it as well. And I guess, what are some of the big challenges that you faced?
Specifically for me, I think it was more about coming from a small Aboriginal community, even though we had, a couple of community members, that are out and loud and proud. But coming from a small community, it was really hard to try and establish little groups for us to be able to all support each other and do those things. And plus, a lot of us were transient, so we were moving around and doing all that kind of stuff, but also just not having that kind of resources and access to resources and stuff made it really hard, which is why Jodie and I constantly talk about trying to figure out a way that we can support people out in the rural communities and regional places, so they don't feel isolated and get that opportunity. Also for me, I struggled growing up, in the sense I just knew within myself that I was gay, and it took a long time to get to that conclusion. And then over time, I started to feel myself and realise who I was supposed to be and where I'm supposed to be in my life. And thankfully that journey led me to my wife. And but even now to see like a lot of the young ones coming up to us and say, you know, you inspire us, like just seeing you gives me hope, and we're like, really? But okay, thank you, bub, you know, if we can help you and support you in any way we can, like let us know. And yeah, so it's good to see that, like in our own little bubble, that we're affecting and other people and trying to help them.
Yeah.
I mean, we have a lot of the challenges too, I guess, as well as that other normal sort of gay or the rainbow family couples have. You know, Kay constantly gets misgendered, which is a really big one. So, you know, when I'm ringing up or sort of making appointments, I suppose it's somewhat easier now because I say wife, but when I was saying things like partner or whatnot, they'd straight away go to, you know, just as something simple like making a doctor's appointment, they'd say, oh, what's your husband's name, or what he. So Kay would get constantly misgendered, I suppose too, because you sort of, I guess, wear more mass clothing. That also, you know, I've had people say to me, but well, why wouldn't you be with a guy if you want to be with a girl that wears guys' clothes? And then people that just assume that because I sort of, I guess, lean more towards femme, that you know, I might have to come out up to 6 times in just one night. You know, people, you know, and so, or people, you know, we don't have to guess who's the guy or the girl in that relationship. You know, like we can almost see people's head, you know, their mind ticking over, you know, oh, so obviously she's the guy and she's the girl, do you know what I mean? And so, I mean, those are challenges that everyone faces. But I guess, Kate's is, I guess, more amplified, being Indigenous and then, being gay as well.
But also then trying to, you know, address the cultural barriers. You know, being Aboriginal, my wife's not Aboriginal, so trying to navigate how we're moving forward as a couple and family.
Yeah, that's a good point. Family, that's a good one. Yeah. So how does your son fit in? Where's his dad? What's going on there? Like, it's just, you sort of, do you know what I mean? How did that occur? Stuff like that. So.
But also trying to teach Jodie about certain customs and values and traditions with my culture and vice versa with yours. And so, you know, there's a few challenges there, but we try and work them out and communicate and figure out how we're going to tackle it, or what's a positive way that we can address those things.
Has Mob received you guys really well, or have there been challenges with them as well?
Like we've had great support. We've also encountered a few, you know, people that were still struggling with the whole homophobic kind of mentality, which is really sad.
I guess for us it's about sort of, sometimes we have to segment it down, then unpack that and break it down and go, well, is it coming from a place of homophobia? Because that's still, you know, we encountered that as of recently with our wedding. You know, people would with the RSVP, we knew that they had an RSVP because they weren't coming, obviously, but they didn't know how to tell us they weren't coming because they couldn't say the reasons, so they kind of danced around lots of different reasons, but at the core was that homophobic piece. But you know that.
I guess that's one of the difficult parts of family.
Absolutely.
I definitely have my own experiences with that as well. I guess you know, from that note, let's move on to something a bit more light, and we can get back into the darker stuff later. But obviously, you know, the good parts of you guys meeting and getting married, and what have been some achievements that you've experienced or you've had over the years that you didn't think were possible, or that had seemed like they were out of reach for someone, you know, black and queer, and or you know, just from a remote or from a regional location as well.
For me, I'd say like one, you know, being able to truly live my authentic life and be my authentic self, it would be the major achievement. also, like I said, I moved to Sydney, so I got to experience like the rainbow scene up there. But for me, really moving to Canberra, we were only talking about this the other day, like the community down here is so supportive, so intertwined, and everybody feels welcome, and everybody supports the different types of rainbow family members down here, and I love that. Like I never got that kind of feeling living in Sydney. So to be able to be exposed to these new networks and people and learning along the way, like I love to learn and meet new people, so it's been fantastic. And Jodie already had an existing little community, so
but we've expanded on that too. So Kay's opened up whilst we talked about the challenges before, Kay's opened up and broadened my horizons and introduced me to a lot of that within that Indigenous space, and I've been able to meet lots of different people, as well as marrying into a massive mob. My family of 4 and her family of 400. So there's heaps of positives that come with that as well. And so for me, the greatest achievement obviously would be our son. That the role modelling and the support that we provide him, and the second would be, without a doubt, getting married. We were so grateful to be able to get married. And it was just an outstanding achievement for Kaylene and I. So,
So, talking of role models, obviously a lot of people do look up to you in the community just for being yourselves. I know you guys find that hard to believe, but it's true. You're a role model for your son. You're both role models for your son. So, who do you guys consider your role models growing up? Who were people that you looked up to, or that you took advice from, and helped you kind of grow into the person you are now?
So for me, it was my mum. Obviously, my mum was a strong single mum of 4 kids, and in those days, with very little support. And my mum, had some wonderful morals, values, ethics that transcended to us kids. And that real piece of just loving everybody. Our house was always open. We always had people there. We always had big dinners. We were always, my mum always made everything stretch. And I really admire my mum and look up to my mum from that. But so in my growing up, it would be my mum.
For me, one of my aunties, she was so open, loving, and supporting in any way she could possibly provide that for us. So, and she was also like my second mum. So I had the beautiful thing where I had my mum and dad plus my auntie / mum. But also Annie Kuncha from Sydney, like first Indigenous trans woman in Australia. So watching her journey was amazing. And she just lights up a room whenever she walks in. She's amazing. So she always could see that I was struggling. But she'd always give me that advice in the sense like, you just got to do you, bub. And I always took that to heart. I always thought, wow, this is amazing. Somebody can see me, really see me at that point. So I try and carry that forward now.
I suppose for me, within that space, Kay and I were talking about this today, and I remember I was coming out, and I was like, I need to go and find lesbians, or I need to go and find lesbian groups, or I need to find a way, how am I going to navigate this? Because it's really tricky. It's like, okay, I've decided, now is a good time to come and tell the world I'm gay, but what does that actually look like? How do I then? And I was saying to Kay, like, I made the decision, like, okay, I need to join some groups, which is really tricky, like, and really hard. And I made arrangements to go to a barbecue at Woods Reserve with a lesbian group, and I was really nervous, obviously, driving out to a reserve, never meeting these people before in my life. And I reckon walking from the car to the seating area was the hardest walk
Yeah.
I literally had to psych myself into it. I was just so anxiety ridden.
Yeah.
But I knew that whatever I was doing prior to that moment wasn't working for me.
Yeah.
And I knew I needed to do something different. And through that, I met some amazing people, and Margaret and Liz that, run the Southside Women's Group. And then, I was able to sort of go to other groups, and I was able to meet other people. And then, but that's sort of taking that step or that leap, I guess, was huge, but was really beneficial. So that's where, we try and give as much back to the community as we can, because they wrap us in love, my family, all of us.
Thinking about community, I guess, you probably can't talk as much on Canberra community, but community in general, just LGBTIQ community. How do you feel that the community's changed over the years from, I guess when you first started going out on town and that kind of stuff?
Like from our age group, we were growing up at a time that there was so many limited kind of ways that people could identify. And seeing it now, it's amazing because, people don't have to be pigeonholed into one particular kind of identity, which is fantastic. And we're seeing a lot more gender fluid and people are being more respectful, using appropriate pronouns and stuff. So I feel that personally, like, it's been a fantastic transformation for our people. I hope that, in the next 10 years that we can continue on with the path that we're on now. I also think that, the young ones, that's who's kind of really spun me out. Like, just the younger they're getting now, they're like, we've been talking to people that their kids are coming out at like 14 and 15, and it took us a long time to get where we are. So to see them so confident within themselves that they know or think that they feel like they know who they are at that age is amazing.
Yeah, I think it's come a long way, a huge long way, and I think that it is more inclusive, way more inclusive, and I think it's a great thing, and I think moving forward that'll, like Kay said, only get better. I think in saying that, we should sort of acknowledge as well and pay respect to the people that have paved the way for us. Even Kay and I talk about how grateful we are for people that have paved the way, and I know that we just, we're Kaylene and Jodie, but on some level I'd love to think that we could do something to inspire or open up space or do something around that.
Yeah, I was about to say, surely you acknowledge that you're just being your genuine selves has definitely created an environment where other people have said, oh, I could do that too. And I think that really contributes to that ongoing. And particularly for yourself, Kay, as a black queer woman, it's incredibly hard in a lot of communities, and without those support networks and that kind of thing, you're definitely someone that people look up to, both of you in your relationship as well. Like, I hope you guys know that's something that helps other people feel that they can be themselves too.
Oh, that's
Thank
lovely.
you, that's beautiful.
Thank you.
Am I going to make you cry, aunties?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Jodie's a crier.
I've got the tissue.
I saw a little couple of tears.
Oh, yeah, I was trying to hold back.
No.
Yeah.
So, thinking about then moving forward into the future, what are you guys looking forward to for the future? And that can be anything. It can be for your relationship, it can be for the community, it could be, about intersectionality. Like, what is it that you're looking forward to?
Well, funny you mentioned that. We're only talking about it. We've been talking about, given that we do have a lot of our friends and stuff that work in the drag community, we was always talking about possibly, hooking up with other people and taking shows on the road out to the small regional towns.
Yeah.
And, it might be a bit much for some communities, but it's an opportunity for us to engage the mob out there in the smaller towns. So they get to have that experience, meet other mob.
Priscilla, Queen of the Desert, told me anything. It's the mob like drag more than anybody else.
Yeah, absolutely.
And for the ones that's never seen it, like, it'd be an eye opener.
Yeah.
But but besides just having the entertainment side of things, we take people along so that we could talk to people and provide resources and do those things, so we can try and connect everybody that don't have the opportunity to either, you know, get on the internet or do all these other things. But if you're there face to face, then they might want to come up and have a yarn. Or, but it also opens up the door for all the straight mob to come and, you know, mix it in and ask us questions and all that kind of stuff too. So
yeah, I think there was two parts that we were saying. There's obviously, I'm passionate about the homeless rate of women over 55. It's the fastest growing rate, so that is something that I sort of am passionate about, working with, you know, groups that I work with. And then the sort of side part to that is obviously the rainbow family members, then elder rainbow family members. You know, we're so deeply saddened to see that, you know, potentially being put into nursing homes and having to go back into the closet, and what options are available for, you know, the rainbow family, which, you know, obviously includes everybody, but when you are potentially faced with those sorts of decisions, because for us it's just so gut-wrenching to think that people would then be put back into the closet through a system that is just not designed so that's I guess bridging that gap, or you know, with regional and remote communities, rainbow communities, and then the elder side of it, you know, especially around that nursing home piece, and what does that look like, and keeping people connected. Both Kay and I are super passionate about keeping people connected. I think when you feel connected and you feel part of a community and you feel like you're part of something, it's somehow the struggles that we all face, which each and every one of us face, it somehow makes it a little bit easier to be able to navigate or handle.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you often go back to your community?
Oh yeah. Yeah. Very active member. Yeah. You know, just only recently I just wrapped up my term. I was on the executive directors, one of the executive directors on the Wreck Bay Aboriginal Community Board. Yeah. Also, I'm a member of the New South Wales Rural Fire Service, so I support the community in that avenue. Yeah. Always go home as much as we can, so you know, have that connection to country, go and see mob. Yeah. But also, there's a lot of events and stuff that happens down home in the Shoalhaven, so we just want to make sure we're going home. But also, now that I'm here living in Canberra, you know, we want to be able to support all the local mob as well, and you know, meet them and pay my respects to being on their country, and you know, so things like that. So yeah, I try to find out what's happening, and Jodie and I always make the time to go.
Yeah, very much so.
Yeah.
Well, I know you've been regularly going to the embassy to drop food and that kind of stuff off. How's your relationship with community there? Do they, you know, they obviously know that you guys are married and that kind of stuff. How have they received you there?
Yeah, the uncles and aunties and sister girls and brother boys have been fantastic, you know. Jodie loves cooking, so she makes up big feeds, like mob feeds, and we always make sure we have enough food, so we'll drop down to the embassy so we can feed the mob, and you know, even though we physically can't be there to help keep the fire going, which is very important to Aboriginal people, and to do that at the embassy. But you know, it's also a way for us to connect with the local mob and just let them know we want to be able to support them in any way we possibly can. Every time we go there, Uncle's, he's grinning when he sees us, because you know, we get to sit and have a yarn and a cuppa or drop off some food. Any events that happen there, we make sure that we're there to support.
I think that's the thing. I think as well, you know, that again, just on a very basic level, for me, just ties back to both Kay's and I, our upbringing. Similar, I come from, like I was saying before, my mum was, whatever we had, we shared. And my goodness, you know, Corey's Kay, whatever we've got, we share. That's just a given.
I've seen lots of photos of takeaway containers full of good looking food. I'd be smiling if I saw you coming down the road as well. I've seen some of that food.
All the takeaway containers that fill the table.
That's it.
We just love, I think, at the heart of everything, we just we do it from such a place of love.
Yeah.
We love people.
Yeah.
And anything that sort of comes off of that is just the best.
Yeah. Yeah. I think and that's definitely a big part of Indigenous culture, and that's something that a lot of people are missing here in Canberra. And I think it's good for them to know through this interview that there is a place for them in community, and there are people that they can reach out to. And it's, even meeting yourselves, like within a second of meeting you, I almost cried because you were like, "Hi Bub, how you going?" And I was like, "Oh, so nice." Just like that. And you both are the kind of like living embodiment of the I heart emojis,
Oh,
so
thank you so much.
I guess kind of coming to the end of the interview, I think what would be your advice for not just young mob coming up, LGBTIQ, but I guess any POC or QT BIPOC people coming up now? What would your advice be for them, given all of your experience and all of your achievements?
Just be yourself. Is the main thing. It takes, a lot of us a long time to get there, but when you're finally there, just be proud of who you are. If you know who you are, that's fantastic. If you're still searching and trying to figure out who you are, then there's people there to help you. Like Jodie and I said, a lot of elders have paved the way, so don't be scared to reach out and ask for help. But also, utilise networks. That's the best thing you can do. Like Jodie said, you don't have to be alone. We're all a family, or a massive rainbow family, and if we can, grab you by the hand and take you with us, we will. But also too, know who you are, respect and value your contribution to community, to your family. If unfortunately that's not an option for you, then seek other families, because you can make your own family if unfortunately you're not getting support from your biological family.
Oh, absolutely. That would, stay connected to community and be yourself. Be your true, authentic self, because everybody is perfect exactly the way they are. And I think when you're your true, authentic, genuine self, and that radiates, and and I think that that's where we all achieve our very best, when we're in that space. And like Kay said, if that's not happening for you at home, or if you're not, God, we've all got family members we don't have anything to do with, or whatever, we're certainly not perfect. We've got wonderful people who we consider family.
But also to the persons or people of colour, celebrate all the other nationalities outside of our own. That's, I've been lucky to travel the world, and that's one of the most valuable things I've ever come across outside of meeting my wife. But just, enrich yourself in other people's lives and cultures, so that you can learn how to be yourself, number one, but two, how to be part of a bigger, broader, amazing community.
Yeah. Thank you, aunties. Appreciate
it. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you all.
Thank you.